Now to Springfield, where the Jewish community and others commemorated Yom HaShoah, also known as Holocaust Remembrance Day. Now, Western Mass News reporter Olivia Hickey joins us live in studio after attending a commemoration ceremony at the Sinai Temple. Olivia?
Glenn, the day serves as a time for community members and relatives of Holocaust survivors to mourn the 6 million lives lost. Inside Sinai Temple in Springfield, people gathered for an evening of reflection, music, and prayer.
Remembrance for the Jewish community is always significant.
Sunday commemorated Yom HaShoah, also known as Holocaust Remembrance Day. CEO of Jewish Federation of Western Massachusetts, Nora Gorenstein, says it's a holiday that was created after the State of Israel was founded and serves great significance.
In our community, we still have several Holocaust survivors who continue to tell their stories and the stories of their families and their communities. When we listen to those stories, particularly in person, live, directly from the folks who had those experiences, we can really recognize and stand with them and think about what they went through, and it has just a much more direct impact than reading about something.
Holocaust survivors and their families were honored, taking part in a candle lighting ceremony, including Margaret Goldberg and Gerald Steinberg. The American Jewish Committee reporting that 62% of American Jews have reported seeing or hearing anti-Semitism online or on social media in the past 12 months. Meanwhile, 1 in 4 college students saying they have avoided wearing, carrying, or displaying things that would identify them as Jewish out of fear of anti-Semitism. Susie Goldman of the Yom HaShoah Committee says that doesn't impair their remembrance.
Our mantra, in a way, is we shall not forget. And we remember.
Next year's event is slated to take place at Temple Bethel in Springfield as this event cycles through the community year after year. Reporting in studio for Western Mass News, I'm Olivia Hickey.